Limitless, Nancy Pelosi, Part 1. Strangely enough, nobody believed I had what it took: the audacity, the competence, the cunning to become powerful. But boy, would I show them. Born in Baltimore, I was the daughter of the mayor and congressman. I attended the inauguration of JFK in '61. In '87, I started my career in politics after 47 unremarkable years on this earth and 5 ungrateful children. Fast forward decades, and there I was, one of the wealthiest members of Congress. On the surface, my story was one of grit, tenacity, insider trading, and corruption, but beneath the veneer of political savvy, there lay a secret to my immense success as the Wolf of Washington. This is my story. The story of how I transcended the ordinary, how I became monumentally wealthy and powerful. Power and secrets were the lifeblood of Washington life, traded like commodities for political favors. Here, I found myself in an uncharacteristic predicament. Once a force to be reckoned, with all my connections and goodwill, I felt my influence beginning to drop. My once fiery speeches now lacked their spark. My decisions faced increasing pushback, and my financial portfolio was declining faster than Joe's mental health. I was feeling the pressure, being barely able to cling to consciousness in House hearings, struggling against the cognitive decline that came with age beginning to settle in. My husband, Paul, with his own set of challenges, struggled to keep his less savory habits out of the public eye. It was clear to me that my best years, the years where I was promised riches and unfathomable power, were slipping through my fingers. The grand retirement I had envisioned, supporting Paul's exotic habits and my own lavish lifestyle, was slipping away. Paul, can we really afford all this real estate? I can't keep up anymore. Being woke has made me broke, I lamented to Paul as he affectionately stroked a hammer he kept by our bed. I know a guy, Nancy. Someone who can help. For the last time, Paul. I don't want a boob job. Well, in that case, responded Paul, looking disappointed, I know another guy. A guy who can help you with your problem. Little did I know how much that other guy would change our lives. All right, Paul. Who is this guy? I asked as I checked my reflection in a small mirror, afraid I was having a stroke as the left side of my face looked droopier than I remembered it. Oh, he's a scientist, a bit of a maverick in his field. He's been working on something unconventional, something that could give you the edge you've been missing, Paul explained, his voice full of a mischievous excitement. It was worth a shot, I thought, as Paul pulled some hard liquor bottles from his bedside table. Even after being found guilty of causing a crash while drink driving, Paul still insisted on getting absolutely smashed before bed. Maybe it was the only way he could bring himself to sleep with me, but I didn't care. He always suspected I had had an affair with Kennedy way back in the '60s. Besides, I had already long suspected he had gone off women. In truth, I was desperate, not for Paul, but for some way of rescuing my dying career. I had spent the last 40 years sacrificing all I had for a seat at the table, and now my own mind was letting me down. I had swallowed too much to give up now. The meeting was set in a dark, almost derelict laboratory, hidden away in the outskirts of D.C. The place looked like a shithole, yet Paul continued to lead the way, towards what I hoped would be the answer to my problems and our financial woes. Inside, Paul introduced me to the scientist, who had the appearance of a man not permitted within 100 yards of a school, who he referred to as the doctor. Nancy Pelosi, it's an honor, the doctor began, extending an extremely sweaty hand. I understand you're looking for an edge. What can you offer? I responded. He led us to a cluttered workbench, where amidst the chaos of papers and vials lay a small, innocuous-looking pill. This is it, he said, NZT-48. But I must warn you, it's not a solution to be taken lightly. The benefits are unparalleled, but so are the risks. Unfortunately, Paul's attention had been caught by a hammer sitting on the doctor's workbench, and he moved off for a closer look as the doctor continued to explain the pill's effects. The pill will heighten your cognitive abilities, sharpening your mind and provide an unparalleled clarity of thought, Mrs. Pelosi." I drifted off as he began explaining the side effects. I felt a surge of hope mixed with apprehension. This could be the answer, the secret weapon to power and riches. The key which would allow me to secure my legacy. "We'll take it," I exclaimed before the doctor had finished. I glanced sideways in time to see Paul discreetly pocket the hammer. The anticipation washed over me as I swallowed the NZT pill. I knew was I stepping into the unknown, armed with nothing but my well-disguised greed and selfish desperation to succeed, even if I had to stand on the backs of the American people to do it. The effects were almost immediate. The world around me seemed sharper, more vivid. Thoughts raced through my mind with a clarity and precision I had never before known possible. This is what it must feel like to be Stephen Hawking, I thought. And it was all possible again, thanks to this little pill. The next day, I awoke, a new woman. I realized how stupid I had been all this time. All I had to do was analyze the market and purchase the right stocks at the right time. Entirely above board, folk would later claim I was a corrupt politician who used her influence in the capital to take advantage of my position on certain committees to manipulate stock prices, like the other crooked politicians, but nothing could be further from the truth. I had an edge the others could only dream of, like Rain Man on Coke and Xanax. But with great power came great scrutiny, as I would later come to find. Armed with these new revelations, I immediately got to work. My first day at Capitol Hill was biblical. Poor Bernie never stood a chance, stuttering away like an untidy fool as he watched me effortlessly bat away his attacks. If only he'd asked me yesterday before the NZT. What did I care if the American people suffered? I had a duty to them, sure, but I had a duty to myself, and as far as I was concerned, I was the priority. Anyways, I thought poor Bernie may have a heart attack after my savage and unexpected responses to his questions, so I eased off a little. He still had his uses after all. That night, as I sat at my desk analyzing the indexes and markets, I had a plan.
Thanks for joining us on this adventure. If you enjoyed the journey and are eager for more wild fan fiction, don't forget to hit that like button, share with your fellow fans, and subscribe for more episodes. And if you're as enchanted by the idea of Middle-earth meeting Hogwarts as we are, make sure to check out our series exploring this magical crossover. Your support brings these worlds to life. Until next time, keep the fantasy alive.